Guys, you must use Scovillain immediately. Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today I'm using a Sun team that I built in like 5 minutes because I wanted to use Scovillain really bad. After the last video, my opponent had one on his team, and I really wanted to try it out. So I actually had a kind of funny battle here, so I figured I would share it with you guys. And let me know in the comment section below, what is your favorite Gen 9 Pokemon? And also, in the comment section, let me know if you guys have any Pokemon you want me to try out. I'll try to use some of you guys' suggestions in future videos. So the battle begins. My opponent is going to lead off with his Gengar as I lead off with my Grimmsnarl. Now, the beginning of this battle, guys, was incredibly frustrating. So I was contemplating going for the taunt, but I figured this is just a fucking Gengar, so I'm going to set up my light screen here. But my opponent is going to whip out the fucking mean look. So what that means is I can't swap out anymore. So I'm basically stuck here until this Gengar switches out. So I figured while I'm here, I might as well set up my Reflect too. And my opponent is going to reach into his bag of tricks and he's going to whip out the fucking Encore. So now I'm stuck here. I can't swap out and I'm stuck using Reflect constantly. So I literally am a sitting duck here. I can't do shit. And my opponent is going to reach into his bag of tricks once again. And he's going to have the fucking Nasty Plot. So literally my opponent's Gengar has one attack, 3 setup moves. And I'm just fucking stuck here. So my opponent is basically just going to spam the Nasty Plot button. And I'm wondering, like, what the fuck is this thing's actual attack? So he's actually, I think he goes for one more Nasty Plot. Or no, I think he's done, actually. So I think he sets up to +4. And then now he's actually going to Terra into Terra Fighting. And, oh no, actually, no, I don't think he Terras yet. So he goes for the Terra Blast, which is just normal, because he hasn't Terra'd yet. So that doesn't do that much damage. And finally the Encore ends, so I just go for a Spirit Break here just to get some damage and possibly break like a Focus Sash or something. But here my opponent is going to Terra, and it's going to be Terra Fighting. So my opponent literally only has one attack on this Gengar, and it's Terra Blast. So he's going to go ahead and Terra into the Fighting type, and which actually kind of works out in my favor, other than the fact that this thing, I can't remember if it's Focus Sash. I think it is. So my Terra, or my Spirit Break is actually going to do super effective damage now. So he's going to go for the Terra Blast. I do still have my light screen up, so I actually live that on a sliver of HP, and I go for the Spirit Break, and we see that he actually is Focus Sash. So he lives on 1 HP, and there's really nothing I can do here. I'm still locked in. So I'm just going to go for Spirit Break on the off chance he doesn't kill me, but there's no way. Let's be honest, there's no way he's not going to kill me here. So he's just going to go for the Terra Blast. And unfortunately, Grimmsnarl really did not get to do much of anything this battle. And that was really hard to lose Grimmsnarl so early in this game, because that was my screen setter. So now I'm going to go ahead and go out into Sheldon, which is my Torkoal. That's going to be my Sun setter. And I figured my opponent probably is going to just let this Gengar die. And I'm just going to go for, I believe, the Lava Plume here. I was kind of thinking maybe Stealth Rocks, but I really don't want to fuck around with this Gengar. It's at +4. So he's going to Terra Blast. I actually live this too, which is kind of amazing considering I'm physically defensive Torkoal instead of specially defensive. But yeah, I live on about half. And I'm able to kill off this this godforsaken Gengar. I mean, my opponent's bringing heat, and you know, I got to give him some props. I was not expecting that right out the gate. So now my opponent is going to bring out this Girafarig, and I'm basically just leaving my Torkoal in to die at this point, or at least so I thought. And I'm just going to go for these Stealth Rocks here on the off chance he lets me live, and he actually does. He goes for Amnesia, which is kind of a questionable choice, but I'm assuming that this Girafarig is actually like max HP, max physical defense. So yeah, he goes for Amnesia. I don't know why my opponent didn't go for Calm Mind over Amnesia, but you know, you do you, boo boo. And I do get my Stealth Rocks up, which is kind of nice later in this battle, you'll see. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna conserve my Torkoal here because it'd be nice to be able to reset up the sun later in the battle. Actually kind of make a risky play here, predicting my opponent to just keep setting up because it seems like that's all they want to do. And I bring out the Lord himself, Harvey Dent, the Sko villain. So I'm actually going to Terra Fire. And in the sun, this thing hits like a fucking nuke. So I'm going to go ahead and Terra Fire. And can I just say, I love when Sko villain Terras, the little crown, it only goes on one of its heads. It's kind of cute. So yeah, so I'm gonna go for the flamethrower in the sun, and that is going to do a shitload of damage. So I'm actually really impressed here at Sko villain, as my opponent sets up the amnesia here. So my opponent in a second, I'm gonna go for another flamethrower, and my opponent's gonna live. But my opponent goes for the stored power, and I was completely expecting to die. But Sko villain, you'll see in a second here as the flamethrower goes off, Sko villain actually lives the stored power, which my opponent has 2 amnesia boosts and an agility. So I'm not sure what stored power is. I think it's like 80 or something like that, plus stab. But Sko villain actually fucking tanks it with 8 HP. That was so fucking hype, and I actually managed to get the burn there. Not that the burn really matters. I'm just gonna go for another flamethrower and kill off the Girafarig. But yeah, definitely if my opponent had the Calm Mind on his Girafarig instead, that could have been a bit of a problem for me, but he didn't. So Sko villain is allowed to do his fucking thing. So my opponent is now going to bring out the Camerupt, and I couldn't remember if Camerupt got like Flash Fire in the heat of the moment, so I just went for Solar Beam, hoping and praying that this would kill, because it's not like the Terra attack. Because I knew that Flamethrower plus Terra plus Sun would do a dickload of damage, but the Solar Beam thankfully actually kills the Camerupt, so I don't have to worry about that thing. Camerupt is actually pretty bulky. I think it's got really good special defense and HP. So now my opponent is going to bring out the Arboliva, and this thing has like not even a ghost of a chance of living a flamethrower in the sun from Sko villain. So we're just sweeping through this man's team like no tomorrow. And so my opponent is, I really don't know why he just left this in, but you know, we'll take it. So Arboliva is going to go down as well. And then I can't remember what my opponent's next mon is. But the sun is unfortunately going to go away. I think it's Alomomola, I'm pretty sure. So the sun is going to go away now. So I figured, you know what? We've come this far with Sko villain, right? We might as well switch the lad out and bring out Sheldon and set up the sun once again. So I'm going to go back out into Sheldon, fully expecting him to kill me here. And that's really what I was going for. But my opponent has other plans. So he's going to go for the Whirlpool. I was honestly expecting like a surf or something like that, or maybe like a chilled water or whatever that new move is that lowers your attack, basically the Kmart Scald. But he goes for fucking Whirlpool. So he's kind of basically what he's doing here is he's stalling out my sun turns, which kind of sucks, but I do have the Heat Rock on my Torkoal, so it's really kind of for nothing here. So I'm just gonna go for the Lava Plume in the sun. I figured that was my best option to get some damage off on this Alomomola, and I actually end up getting the burn on this thing as well. So we got 2 burns this battle. I got pretty lucky. So I'm still stuck by this stupid Whirlpool, and I'm just gonna go for Lava Plume once again and pray that my opponent finally kills off the freaking Torkoal, but he fucking misses. I'm trying to die here so I can use up some sun turns with Sko villain. But yeah, so I mean, thankfully I had the Heat Rock, because otherwise that actually could have been a little bit of a problem. So my opponent's Citrus Berry is going to proc, not that it matters. And finally, the freaking Whirlpool kills me. And I'm basically just going to bring out Sko villain, but my opponent decides to go ahead and DC. So that is game, and that is a Sko villain sweep, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, especially the beginning of this match. It was insane. But anyway, let me know in the comment section below what mons you want me to use. I'll try to use some of your suggestions. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I love you, and I will see you in the next video. Toodles.